Dialed Up podcast. Wow, that's really all I can say. There were a couple of good games this weekend, but none that really kind of caught our attention. There was a lot of bad defense and honestly quite a few boring games, even though some of them were high scoring. Um, Especially, when we think about it, like the Texas OU game, we kind of knew that was going to be a shit show, and it really was. I mean, I was not impressed with either team. It seemed like both teams were really trying to give the game away.
Yeah.
And that was probably the ugliest 4 overtime game I've ever seen in my life.
Well, and on top of that, like, with how shitty all of the defense was that we saw, not only in that game, but in a lot of other games, getting detailed on the Red River rivalry, like the fact that these people think that they're like fucking glorified fucking players because they're winning in this game or they're fucking doing okay in this game. It's dog shit defense, and nobody can seem to fucking fathom that at the moment, which to me is insane. However, whatever, exciting game, went back and forth. What was it, double overtime?
It was quad. It was
Quadruple overtime. So, gives you an idea of how shitty this entire game was. But that's opinion, just like buttholes. Everyone's got one. Anyways, what do you guys say, Darby?
I thought it was an ugly performance for both teams. I mean, flat out. Which is exactly what we said it was going to be coming into it. We said, but we all said that it was going to just be this ugly game.
Yeah.
Right.
I think both teams are pretty mediocre in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to. You might see one of these teams in the Big 12 championship, but honestly, just by even this performance, I'm really disappointed in the Big 12. I really didn't expect it to be this bad. I mean, we all kind of expect the Big 12 to be this no defense league, but for it to be this bad, where your two premier programs coming into the year are looking this terrible.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't understand how anybody can enjoy this type of play.
I mean, it was really, really bad. And the thing that surprises me is even with how bad the defense was, Sam Ellinger was still 30 for 53. 2 picks, 2 touchdowns. And
he had 4 rushing touchdowns.
yeah, I mean, that's still like to me, that's just a running back that's trying to throw. He's not been impressive as a quarterback at all. His decision making has been questionable. His accuracy has been questionable. I am not impressed with him at all. I was not impressed with Rattler coming out of the gate, but after he got benched and then came back in the second half, he kind of turned his focus on a little bit and really improved his production from that point on.
Yeah. I just watching that game and kind of seeing, what was interesting, I think, to see about that game is to see how much just a little bit of pressure on these quarterbacks in this game made them do some stupid ass shit. Like just terrible decisions throwing the football or just how you handle the football. In those kind of situations, you would think that, you're getting fucking pressured and you're outside the box. Fucking throw it to the sidelines. Like, come on, that's basic principles that you should know as a fucking quarterback for Texas or Oklahoma that is being preached as a big-time program. Like, you should at least know that. I'm sure the quarterback coaches told you how to do that. However, they don't fucking practice it because they don't give a fuck because they're Big 12 and they just undermine that. Like, those small details. So I'm looking at this as, like, not only just poor from... Like, to me, I think there's plenty of athleticism. All this type of football play and what we're seeing in this shitty defense and these stupid fucking turnovers and decisions is not only leading to an incredibly exciting game because everyone's not sitting there waiting for someone to make a play. Everyone's sitting there waiting for somebody to fuck up. Like, and that's the exciting part about watching Big 12 football, and that's fucking annoying. So I'm sitting there looking at this as like, to me, that's just a lot of shitty coaching. Because there's plenty of talent, as we've seen. Plenty of talent. But these guys don't know what the fuck to do when something happens or how to handle a football when something happens to them. And it's like, that's basic principle. Like, that's step one. Like, that's shit you learn in fucking high school, man. And it's been undermined in their program, and that's usually like the first base of teaching. So they're just skipping that because they think they're so good because they're Big 12. That's my opinion. That's my perspective. That's what I see. I'm going to chill the fuck out because I just had to go off on a rant. I'm off the soapbox. I'm going to chill out.
Well, so
It's
before we
fucking
get
annoying.
into the next game that we're going to talk about, and really the main game we're going to talk about. I just wanted to run through some scores, some notable scores. Alabama ended up pulling away from Ole Miss, who hung in for the majority of the game.
Yeah, that the score is way not indicative of what the game actually was.
So the final score ends up being 63-48.
Just a keynote off that, Najee Harris broke Alabama's rushing record. He ran for 5 touchdowns.
Oh, damn.
That's a new Alabama record. We can keep going.
Yeah. So Tennessee, Georgia. Georgia ended up pulling away in the second half, holding Tennessee scoreless in the second half.
Didn't look good first half.
It did not look good first half, but that's kind of been indicative of what Georgia has, how Georgia has looked thus far this year. I mean, you look back at the A&M game, and it was the same thing. A&M was leading Georgia at the half, and then Georgia pulls away in the second. So that's kind of a good thing to see. You like to see those second half teams, those coaching staffs make adjustment at halftime. Then speaking of A&M, pulling off the upset against number 4 Florida. Florida, who a lot of people were kind of expecting to take the next step forward and really contend for an SEC title this year.
Yep.
Big time kind of surprise there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't know what to make of freaking Jimbo Fisher anymore, dude. You know, that A&M team that showed up this week was the team I thought was going to show up last week and pull off the upset against Alabama, and instead they do it against the team I picked to win the SEC this year.
Yep.
So I don't fucking know anymore. I don't. I don't know.
Then, then you got the Va Tech North Carolina game, which honestly for me that was probably one of the more entertaining games that we watched today.
Yeah.
In my opinion, North Carolina's running back duo is the best duo in the country. Both of those running backs run hard. They have great vision. Their legs don't stop moving on contact. I mean, they are phenomenal and just really fun to watch. I love watching both of those guys play. You guys have any thoughts on that game, Sam Howell? Or
Fuck Virginia Tech.
I mean,
dude.
I'll just give
I want go ahead, say it.
Offensive linemen don't wear back plates. Yo, what? These guys are getting in the fucking defensive linemen of North Carolina. First of all, North Carolina is actually pretty fucking humble for the way they play football. They're not like all up in your grill like mad shit talking. Like they're just kind of like, yeah, I think I'm better than you, so I'm gonna play like that. And I don't really give a fuck about you. That's kind of their body language throughout the entire game. While Virginia Tech's offensive lineman is like getting up in their grill and like talking shit and like. They're all wearing, like, 3 of them are wearing fucking back plates. I'm like, yo, like, I don't care. Like, you got the gut out, like, that's swag. Like, whatever. Like, that's big man swag. But you got a back plate on? Get the fuck out of here, dude. You're not going to win a fucking football game with a back plate on if you're the fucking starting center for Virginia Tech. Like, eat shit. You're trash. Fuck you, dude. And it was him and the left tackle. I think they thought they were cute.
76 and 77.
Yeah, dude, trash. Like, anyways, I'm off. See it.
I guess for me, even though I guess I'm not that big on. I've been saying it week after week. I'm not that big on Virginia Tech at all.
Yeah.
And for them to hang 45 on North Carolina is concerning. If you're a North Carolina fan,
that
in my
was
opinion.
all in the second and the third quarters too.
Well, I get that, but still,
Yeah.
45 points, 45 points.
Yeah.
But
Beat that.
you know, North Carolina's maybe eat my words. I did pick them to win this week, but you know, they put up 56 points. I wasn't crazy impressed with Sam Howell. I was more impressed by their running back duo, like Zane said. I actually would agree that that's probably the best running back duo in the country.
Yeah.
I can't think of another one. But you know, congrats to North Carolina, making me eat my words. You guys look like you're going to compete for that second spot with Notre Dame.
Yeah. Then you got Auburn and Arkansas. Arkansas has actually kind of impressed me this year with Felipe Franks at the quarterback spot.
Yo.
New coach coming in. They've hung around in some games that you would really expect them to get blown
They
out
made
of.
us wonder, man, because I know you, because we were both really thinking about that picking Arkansas this week, and
They made it close.
Dude,
2-point game.
for a little while there, I'm not gonna lie, I'm sort of going, I picked the wrong fucking team, dude. I should have just done it. But here I am picking the wrong upsets, and
Yeah.
we live and we die. But at least we got the pick right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and say this. And now, what did I say about Georgia's win over? How did Georgia do today
Oh, they ended up pulling away in the second half.
against
Tennessee.
Tennessee? Now, I'm not saying Tennessee, like that was a solid SEC football matchup, right?
Oh God, what's coming?
The same thing I said about Georgia beating Auburn, and now like we're sitting here. Now I'm not undermining what was done today by any means, but like when I'm looking at this, I said the same thing about when Georgia beat Auburn last week. And I was like, oh, Georgia's pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
It's fucking Auburn, man. Like, they should play like that against Auburn. I don't know why Auburn thinks they're... what did they do? What did they do last year to make you think, to make AP think that they were as good as they fucking thought they were? How the fuck did that happen?
'cause,
Who's handing who money?
They
That's
see
all I know.
they see the 3 words in their conference.
No,
SEC,
someone's like,
and-
hey, fucking,
Yeah.
here's a fucking timeshare down in Florida. Like, what? I don't know. I just...
The-
So...
Then let's cover just the last one that was the surprising.
That's why I'm saying
game.
Arkansas just went over Auburn today.
Yeah.
Obviously good. I'm happy for Arkansas. Good
No.
win.
No,
Thank you.
Auburn beat
Auburn
Arkansas.
won. Auburn,
It was just a
Auburn
close.
won.
Was it really?
Yeah.
It was
Okay, close
actually
this game. I thought Arkansas
there was
won.
actually a controversial.
Okay, so what was the
call
final
over
score?
The fumble.
It was 28-30 Auburn.
Okay, so 2 points difference. I thought
Yeah.
Arkansas fucking won that.
No, Mo didn't.
Anywho, whatever. Arkansas, I wish you guys had won that. I just don't like Auburn.
All right, well, let's get on to the
Fuck.
other SEC
Jesus.
matchup that was surprising.
Yeah.
Missouri knocking off LSU. How the mighty have fallen, and without all that stud NFL talent,
Yeah.
we're really trying
Well, what did I say coming?
Yeah.
Before we started the season, I really felt like LSU was going to fall back into that middling of
Yeah.
the SEC
So right.
role, and I mean honestly, it's looking. I mean, if you're losing to Missouri,
to. Yeah.
it's a lot worse than even I thought.
Yeah.
And Ed Orgeron, dude,
And we're
It-
also...
it- my guy.
Is he on the hot seat now? I mean, because that's some. Those are two bad losses.
This
seat's
getting hot pretty. Go Tigers.
I mean, that was really ugly, and they had a chance to win it at the end. And
We're fucked
I mean,
up.
trying to throw the ball
Not
from
our
the
fault.
one. I mean, you fell for one of the classic blunders.
You fell for one of the classic blunders. I
Fucking-
don't know. It's just pathetic. There's not much
Yeah.
to talk about on
Yeah,
that.
it's just ugly.
This whole year is freaking wild.
So now, I just want to say we all three had high expectations for Miami coming into this game against Clemson. We all three picked them to win. Coming off, we stated very clearly that this was going to come down to coaching.
Yeah.
And with Miami coming out of a bye week, having 2 weeks to prepare for Clemson, we expected the offense to be moving that tempo, get Clemson on their back heel. We never really saw the tempo come in. Defensively, they were just outmatched in terms of play calling and scheme time and time again. They were just simply outcoached today. And Luke, before we let Darby go, I want to get your thoughts on the game.
I was hoping for a much better performance by Miami's defensive line, but they still made plays. Like, they still did good things, you know?
But not
But,
enough.
like, I was expecting either their D-line to fucking do some crazy shit and throw people off, or I was expecting more pressure from the defensive coordinator, which I already know the defensive coordinator is a conservative piece of shit, and a lot of people want him gone. Darby,
Yeah.
go ahead, go off.
Well, so, I mean, I guess I'll go off your last pick. I know we were expecting the D-line to do a lot more, but, dude, Blake Baker, bro. I said it, since I've been preaching it since week 1. This play calling on the defensive side of the ball is way too conservative. We talked about one of our big points coming into the Clemson game was that Trevor Lawrence, under pressure, his stats are, they're not
Trash.
that good if you can get pressure on him. What did we do? We kept the linebackers back. We rarely blitzed. I'd rather I'd rather my defense get beat playing aggressive than my defense get beat while sitting back. And it was through the air most of the time. So to me, I was really concerned about Travis Etienne, but Travis Etienne was honestly a non-factor outside of a 72-yard run play that game.
He was, again, it was more of a factor out of the backfield reception, or as a receiver.
Well, Trevor Lawrence really lit us up, and I'm not even going to get into that motherfucker with his little dancing after that bullshit targeting call. I don't want to get into it. But, it's just, I thought, but my biggest thing that I didn't think would be a thing was our offense looked completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looked scared, completely different.
And this is my big gripe, right? And I know this is probably going to be echoed by a lot of the Miami fans out there, is what has gotten Miami to the point where they've had success thus far this year? It's been on the back of Cameron Harris first and foremost, getting the running game established, and then going to the air. After Clemson scored that first touchdown and you went down 7-0,
We ran 3 straight pass plays.
yeah,
3
there
and
was
out.
no attempt to run the ball, and then from there out, it seemed like Rhett Lashley was just trying to play catch up when you're only down 1 or 2 scores. There was no attempt to establish a run game. Cam Harris didn't even start the game, which was surprising, and just the play calling made absolutely no sense to me.
Was it?
I'm honestly just kind of
Cam
bewildered.
did start. Cam was out there that very first drive. We just didn't use him. The second drive is what you're thinking of, where we brought
Where it
out
was
Don,
Knighton and
we
Chaney?
brought out Don Chaney, and then
Yeah.
we in the 2-set package we brought in
It just doesn't make no
Knighton.
sense.
But I just I don't understand. I don't understand the constant deep ball that we were trying to pull. I don't understand it. My biggest gripe on King this entire season has been his deep ball accuracy, and for us to come out there and then constantly try this deep ball after deep ball after
On
deep
second
ball after
down
deep
and
ball.
get yourself behind
Yeah,
the chains
and-
when you don't do anything on first.
And penalties,
Yep.
dude,
Yeah, a lot of stupid ones.
and terrible, man.
That first
Amari, captain targeting, dude. How many targeting calls do you have? I can think of at least 5 targeting off the top of my head that this dude's got that I've watched throughout his career. How many times do we have to?
Well-
I just don't get it. He was sliding.
You
Come
were,
on.
You were talking about penalties, and I know I get on you about trying to stay optimistic when the game is early on, but you said it right at the first drive. You said, "Uh-oh, this is bad. This is bad juju. This is how the game's going to go." Clemson is a high-powered offense. When you get them off the field, you stop them, you force a turnover on downs or force them to punt. That is huge.
Yeah.
But to have that negated because your defensive end lined up in the neutral zone gives them a fresh first down. Then you damn near do it again, and now your defensive tackle lined up in the neutral zone on the same damn drive, and then they get the first score of the game, ends up being a touchdown on the very next play. That was huge. I mean, that was huge. Roche almost had an interception, ended up dropping it, but
It would have been a fourth down.
Yeah,
if
it would have
he
been a fourth
either
down.
way.
And that was such a huge swing that, like, you think, okay, it's the first drive, there's a lot of ball game left, so you don't really think it's going to matter that much, but it really did. That really did set the tone for the entire game.
And I just want to give a shout out to some players real quick. Mark Pope, Mike Harley, Jeremiah Payton. Fuck you guys, because you guys were non-existent for the fucking fourth week in a row. I've never seen a Miami team, even under a shitty fucking offensive coordinator, not have wide receivers. I mean, you guys are non-existent. You guys aren't a threat. Brevin Jordan's our only target, which I don't understand why we didn't even target him as much as we could have. And he ended up going down to injury, and even still, we could turn to Will Mallory, who's another, top 3-round pick in the draft if he wanted to leave. So for me to sit here and see our wide receivers be absolutely non-existent, I can pick so many freaking things for this game. It's unbelievable.
I think we do need to highlight some of the good that happened today. I know it wasn't much, but there was one glaring bright spot for Miami today, and we've been on him all year. Bubba Bolden, that boy, he is a dude. He is a ball player, and gashed his nose open, blocked two field goals.
2, and actually, as a team, we blocked a third again.
Yeah,
And we actually tied an FBS record for blocking 3 field goals.
I mean, he was flying all over the field. He missed a couple of tackles that he should have made.
But for the most part, he did make his tackles.
He played a really solid ball game, and he was, in my opinion, the lone bright spot for Miami.
And DJ Ivey, he had a couple pass breakups. He didn't really get target heavy. Surprisingly,
He looks better than Blades.
Well, and
today.
that's what I was going to say. Surprisingly enough, Blades did not play that well, and that's surprising to me because he's been shut down since going into last year. And Ivy, he broke up a couple plays. He returned that field goal for a touchdown, which blew us up, and gave me false hope. Our offensive line looked terrible. I know he, on his deep balls, he threw 2 interceptions, and on his deep balls he didn't look too good, but Derek King did fight, and I really did like that he was really trying. He really tried to throw that team on his back, and he ran for 84 yards and a touchdown late in the game. I just felt like the O-line really didn't help him out at all.
Yeah.
I think the O-line really hurt us more than anything. I just didn't really agree with our play call. I thought that we could run some RPOs, some slants, get the ball out faster than we did. And instead, we were trying to do these deep balls, which I think forced King to end up throwing interceptions that he normally wouldn't throw. Plus, playing in a pouring rain was one of his picks. I'm just shocked. This didn't feel like that because typically, when Miami disappoints me, I'm not surprised because I know what we are. This year, I thought I knew what we were in terms of a completely different team. We played different all year, regardless of, I know Louisville got blown out by Georgia Tech,
Yeah.
and Florida State got blown out today by Notre Dame, but regardless, our team felt completely different coming into this game, and then also having a bye week to prepare. Manny Diaz continues this trend of losing after bye weeks, and not only losing, but look completely embarrassing, looking completely unprepared, penalties. This is a common theme that he's had coming off bye weeks. I'm not going to do a You're on Notice segment this week because it'd be too biased because I put Miami on notice. But I need a little bit to calm down.
Before we stop talking about this game, I want to talk about Clemson a little bit. And Luke, there's something I really want to get your thoughts on. To me, I think the best overall position unit from this game was by far and away Clemson's offensive line.
Yeah, and I was actually thinking about what I wanted to say when you were talking about like optimistic things to say, but I know that there's going to be some bias. I'm not trying to piss you off.
Yeah,
but like
you're not gonna,
things
I'm
that
pissed off, but you're
yeah,
good.
things that I saw from Clemson's side of the football on offense was fucking pretty. It was nice to see when the ways that they find the ideas and the plays that they came up with in order to run the football in 100% scheme fashion against the way that Miami ran their defense. It was like way too predictable. Like, but at the same, not from the calling standpoint, but that you could tell that they knew 100% what Miami was going to do on defense.
Oh yeah,
because these plays were designed exactly for how they were lined up and what they were going to do. And so, I mean, you're seeing different. Like, I saw probably 3 or 4 different variations of power. With just a guard skip pull up to the next A gap to the next B gap to full on pull, everyone crash, like to an insert from somebody else with the guard still kicking out. I saw, I think like probably 4 or 5 different variations of power.
their screen game.
Like their screen game too. Like they had some different screens I'd never seen before, where it's just a simple offensive tackle, like really crashing down and sprinting out,
Reverse
and trying to go
motions
for
on
the
it.
alley player. Like that means you have a lot of confidence in the abilities of your offensive tackle going up against like top talent at the fucking alley defensive player. That's usually like your most agile fucking football player, and they're sending their offensive tackle to go out and hand them one on one in space. So they were coached well, clearly, but I liked the different play calls that they were able to put together in order to try and scheme. And as Darby already said, if Miami had came out with just a more fucking intense and like more attack style defense, they could have been a part of this fucking ball game. But as Darby mentioned, the defensive coordinator was so conservative that fucking Clemson's offensive line knew exactly how they were going to line up, what they were going to do, and if there was even just a slight mix-up when Miami would bring up pressure, you saw Trevor easily step up and just say a few things, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's that part." Like we remember this part. Like they understood what was going on. There was nothing different about what was going on.
Not just. I wasn't just impressed with the scheme and that aspect of the play for Clemson's offensive line. Just we all know how talented Miami's defensive line is. I mean, you have Roche, Phillips, and Silvera as your big 3 in there, and I think I only saw 1 sack.
They
were non-existent, and that's because Clemson's offensive line were phenomenal. We knew that the left side of their line, their left guard and their left tackle, were really experienced and good linemen, but the center, right guard, and right tackle, they all they dominated the line of scrimmage, and especially in the pass game, they gave Trevor a clean pocket, and when the pocket did start to collapse, they made sure that there was an alleyway that he could use to escape and get out.
And it doesn't help. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. No.
It doesn't help then, when your defensive line isn't getting enough pressure, and then you've got your linebackers giving terrible pursuit and missing, just they just never took any good angles. Like almost every single time I saw, Etienne or a wide receiver on like a screen, whenever they got out there, our linebackers had terrible angles.
Yep.
It seemed like we just looked completely out of position. I'm like, it looked like a completely different team.
Now,
We looked like a completely different team.
From what I saw from Clemson's offensive line, and talking about what you were mentioning, really there was like Silvera didn't do shit.
Yeah.
And we thought he was going to wreak some havoc.
Yeah.
Motherfucker didn't do shit. He can play, but clearly he's not Clemson caliber defense. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he didn't do anything. Now,
It doesn't help when you're not bringing any pressure though on top of him at all.
well,
We were only rushing.
your
4 almost
defensive
the
ends
entire
did
game.
fine. They ran the hoop like champs. Like, they still put pressure. They made Trevor Lawrence know that he couldn't take fucking a full 3 steps back.
Yeah.
He had to pitter-patter those 3 steps because he knew that he was going to have to step up into the pocket. So that means that your defensive ends are doing a great job running the hoop and getting around the edge on your offensive tackles. They're making sure that he's not going to be able to step back and have a lot of vision to take off. They're making sure that he's stuck in a trap and he's going to have to choose. So in that situation, sorry, I'm standing up, but like I'm looking at this as your defensive ends I think your defensive ends didn't do shitty. There was just times where they lacked the containment, but you can't blame them because they're just antsy to try and fucking make sure they get after it.
Well, I'm not
Yes.
blaming my defensive ends, and
I know.
I'm not saying
I'm
they
saying
did
your
shitty.
interior
I'm
defensive
saying that
linemen
we
didn't
didn't
do
bring.
any shit.
Well, I'm saying like we didn't bring any added pressure at
Oh
all.
yeah, that
Yeah.
too.
And so I feel like Silvera's probably dealing with a bunch of double team.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like it's hard to get your interior to bring to get
Yeah.
enough pressure when you're not bringing anything else. You've got your
Yeah.
defensive ends who they're which honestly I felt like for the most of the night Trevor Lawrence looked pretty fucking comfortable back there,
Yeah.
and he really didn't get that much pressure. Me and
Yeah.
him said it almost all night. It's like, dude, where's the pressure? Because we weren't bringing anything else.
Yeah.
It was
I agree.
we were rushing 4 almost the entire
Yeah.
night 4,
And
that's not a Miami defense, dude. We rush usually 5 or 6 like minimum.
Yeah.
And Lawrence
I
is a
agree.
guy that you can't allow to sit back there. Obviously, he's an NFL caliber talent, and
No, he's shown it that he is
Yeah.
not good under pressure. It's not a fucking.
You can't allow him to sit back
Enigma.
and have all day.
Now, this is something that we always have to keep in mind. Clemson offensively has that many weapons. That's
Yes.
tough.
Yes.
Like, because you can get all that pressure in the world on him, but who the fuck's going to QB spy him? Because that dude can take off. He can break a defensive
Yep.
lineman's tackle.
And
He's
and
shown
the
that.
times Miami did get pressure, we saw that, and that goes back to they were spying, and he
But I
just
agree.
outran.
Yeah, but he didn't do it
McLeod
that
or
much
Brooks.
though. He
Yeah.
didn't really.
That's because Miami didn't get pressure. That
No,
much.
but
Yeah.
like I said, I would rather us lose showing pressure than lose being conservative and
Yes.
playing
Yeah.
this. They have so many weapons, we need to respect it, but then get beat the entire time. I'd rather us blitz some linebackers, blitz a safety,
Take a shot.
get in there and get in his ass and
Yeah.
make him show it, because we did a pretty good job of wrapping him up and tackling him. When he did try to break free, one of Jalen Phillips' sacks happened when he tried to roll out and try to
Yep.
get away, and Jalen Phillips got a sack on him. I think
Yep.
the only sack I can remember the entire game.
Mhm.
And I just feel like if we would have brought more pressure and make him have to do it, I'd rather lose that way. And I feel like we would have had a way better showing, and our defense would have been way more aggressive, because I understand he has weapons, but to get the ball to those weapons, you have to have time to get the ball to those weapons.
Yeah, and I agree.
Rather than you're not having enough time because you're fucking rolling, you're having to
Yeah.
move.
Yeah.
I'd rather it be that way, and that's how it should have been. That's how we've always played up until this season. I've been saying it and saying it and saying
Yeah.
that this
You-
defense
you
is
don't
too
like it.
conservative. I do not like it at all, and I used to not be on the get rid of Blake Baker train. But dude, I'm not liking it. I'm not liking the vibe I get from our defense at all.
So
Looks scared.
yeah, well let's get out of that. I mean, we pretty much covered
Some optimistic notes.
that game. So let's go into some players that really impressed us.
Game balls?
Let's get into the game balls here. Luke, I feel like I know where you're going with this one.
Yeah.
But who you got, man?
Man, I got. Oh, hold on. Let me make sure I pulled it up. I don't want to make sure I get his fucking name wrong. JJ Pegas, fucking 89, tight end, freshman for Auburn. Dude, this guy looks like a hoss in his half. He's like 6 foot, every bit of like 290.
He's 300.
300.
They have him listed at
Like,
6'2",
This
300.
dude's a fucking 6 foot nose tackle that can fucking move, and this dude fucking hurdled a guy.
No, he spun, broke out of the
Yeah,
tackle with the
he,
spin move,
he spun.
then hurdles
like, yeah,
the dude.
Like this dude was booking, and like they loved it. Like they gave him the ball several times.
They
I'm just
ran Wildcat with this man.
yeah. Like whoever
That's
this
when
guy
that's the play it happened
Can you
on was a
imagine?
Wildcat
Can you
play.
imagine being a freshman going into a fucking college football game as a starter, and you're just some big chunky dude, 6 foot? They're like, "You're getting the football, son." Like, let's go. Like,
No, fuck
what?
no. I want you to
That's,
imagine.
that's every big man's dream come true.
I want you to imagine being like that maybe 200-pound safety that they're like, hey, you get the tight end in this play. And you go out there and the tight end is fucking 6'2", 300 pounds, and you're like, and he gets the ball and you go,
Oh,
Uh,
fuck.
I gotta tackle this guy.
And he damn well knows running at you. He's like, this motherfucker's going for my ankles.
And you just watched him hurl a guy last week. You're like,
Not only that, how embarrassed can you feel if you're the guy who just got hopped? You're like, yo, I just got hurdled by a 6 foot, 300-pounder fucking D lineman, basically.
cut him.
Like that dude, yeah. Like he just got up and he was like, fuck, I'm about to get replaced right now. Like, that was incredible. That's my game ball, dude. You gave inspiration to a lot of fucking young football players out there.
Yes.
And you brought a lot of excitement to fans. Toodles to you. That's mine.
Okay. Well, do you want me to go or you want to go?
You can go since you got it all pulled up right there.
All right, so mine is going to the North Carolina backfield, both of them. Michael Carter and Javonte Williams, both of these dudes are ballers. I already said I think they're the best running back tandem in the nation right now. Michael Carter had 17 carries, 214 yards, 2 touchdowns, averaged 12.6 yards per carry. Javonte Williams, 20 carries, 169 yards, 2 tutties, and averaged 8.5 yards per carry. Those numbers are just flat out incredible. Like I mentioned earlier, they are just extremely fun to watch. They run hard, they have great vision, they're patient runners, they use their blocks well. When they get contact, their legs never stop moving. They run through contact. They have all the moves that you need. They have the jump cuts, the spin. I mean, they can tiptoe the sideline. They are just, I love watching these guys play, and I love these guys.
Jesus, why did you marry him?
They're just fun to watch. And I'm a defensive guy, right? I love watching good defense, but that is just,
So mine actually goes up to someone. He didn't really have that crazy of a performance even in the end box, like the final box score. But it's just because I called him out. But I'm giving my game ball to Spencer Rattler. He got benched in the first half. I know some people said he was hurt, even though nowhere can you find any record of him ever getting hurt. He just got benched. He was not playing good at all at the beginning of that Red River rivalry. But his ability to come out and, regardless of his overall performance, I know he threw 3 touchdowns and 1 pick, but I know he barely threw for over 200 yards. So his numbers weren't insane, but he did make some really good throws after he came back in.
Yeah.
And just his ability to come in and fight really impressed me. Like I said, I'm not 100% sold on that performance, especially going against Texas and what we've said about Texas. But just his ability to come back from getting benched and come out the second half and really lead his team to a win and make some real tightrope throws, So he gets my game ball
all right.
for sure.
All right.
I think that's fair, especially after kind of going after him on the Twitter sphere there.
That just blew up.
To be fair, I didn't really get. People took that what I said was going at him. Literally, my thing was literally saying that Spencer Rattler came in as a top 5 Heisman pick into the season.
Yeah.
And that he was benched for Tanner Mordecai in the first half of the game.
Yeah.
You find the lie. I mean, and then people wanted to get mad at me and say that one guy wanted to say that he got hurt. Never heard of that before, and nowhere where you find it. I don't know what that
That was just funny how quickly that blew up, and we're just sitting there like.
It blew up. In terms of a guy that has 6 followers on Twitter gets 100 some likes and 20 some retweets.
That was fucking hysterical.
I was just reporting news, guys. People wanted to get mad at me and then act like I had to walk it back. I'm like, I don't know when I'm walking back. He got benched.
Yeah.
I'll find the lie.
That was fucking hysterical.
But Spencer, from what I've heard from people on my Twitter, is if the NFL doesn't work out, apparently you got somebody that can get you a job.
Yeah, that was fucking funny. We're like, what? This guy just said he was going to give him a job?
No, I said it.
But that guy's sitting there talking about him having a job in the
No,
NFL.
I guess when I'm talking about a guy getting benched, he's like, oh, he's got a relative that works where I work.
Yeah,
okay, cool. Maybe you can help him get a job when he doesn't go to the NFL. But it's cool.
Oh, fuck.
But it wasn't a crazy weekend like last weekend. I think last weekend was just such a great weekend for football.
It really was.
And it was
I think this weekend was just a bunch of shitty defense. That's
Yeah.
It
all
was. I
was.
mean, even overall.
I
for
just
every
didn't
game.
see any legit defense. All these crazy ass games with fucking high scores.
All I'm gonna say
Like-
is, Ohio State's at home licking their fucking chops right now. Okay, because I'm telling you, if Ohio State, which they should, runs the table in the Big Ten, I mean, I'm ready to give them the natty because, dude, none of these Alabama. I mean, if Ole Miss can put up 40-some points on Alabama, Clemson. I mean, yeah, they had a stronger showing, but I just feel like it was more us freaking just. I thought it was more us losing that game than anything. I just feel like Ohio State, man, that's the team to beat this year.
Yeah,
And
but
they haven't even played snap yet.
We haven't even played the snap, and the thing is, like, all these other teams that everyone was also sitting there saying was like the team to fucking watch out for. They're still fucking not solid as we've seen. So like, I'm thinking that this whole fucking Big Ten, once they step in, it's gonna make the season all that much more crazy because we're gonna be sitting there thinking, Big Ten's gonna come in balling. And I'm thinking these teams have got fucking 5 games under their belt. They're ready to fucking smack somebody. They've been doing it for 5 weeks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, like, that's just being honest. But then Big Ten's gonna have to go at each other, and then that's gonna be nuts. Cause like it's gonna be
It's going to be fun,
it's gonna be
baby.
fucking nuts.
Oh, I
Ohio
can't
State's
wait.
got a nice, easy schedule for them too.
Yeah.
Though I mean, it's not to like bash them or anything, but
Yeah.
their schedule really, out of all the Big Ten teams, doesn't seem that
Just
bad.
solid, like stepping
Um,
stepping ladder.
Week 2. Week
So-
2 is the big game.
So if Ohio State takes care of business, I mean, I see them. I mean, people were like, I don't see the Big Ten getting into the playoffs. Well, you know, I'm gonna be honest with you. What's the Big 12 gonna get in? Because are we gonna put Kansas State in there, maybe?
I mean, look at it. Big 12 is killing itself.
SEC's eating itself.
SEC is eating itself alive.
ACC's holding a little bit.
ACC is, I mean, you have Clemson, who obviously just put up their big performance. They still have to play North Carolina and Notre Dame. I think they play Carolina, don't they?
I don't think they play Carolina. I think that was the big note was Carolina.
Yeah.
God
doesn't
bless
have
you.
Clemson on schedule.
I
They
mean,
still have to play us though.
but there's still some big games there left for the Tigers. It's going to be interesting to see how it shakes out, man.
It's just a weird year.
It really is.
Everything about this season is just
Hey, undefeated.
Undefeated.
yeah. I'm interested.
Tulsa,
seeing
who
how you
just
guys
beat UCF
That'll be interesting.
this upcoming week.
Yeah.
But
So-
Fuck, how'd they beat UCF? I don't know. I didn't watch because I didn't think that was gonna happen. Oh shit.
they just kept up with them.
Apparently.
You know, UCF doesn't have a defense, so
Yeah, but they have a hell of an offense.
yeah, they do. But I mean, fuck, when you can't hold anybody on defense, then
Yeah, I know.
what's the point? Look at the Big 12.
Yeah.
So,
true. Shitty defense.
I just
Anyways.
I want to know before. I mean, this is going to be a shorter episode because honestly, there's not a lot to go into in terms of game recaps. There wasn't a lot that really impressed us or caught our attention. We watched all the games,
it was
but
just shitty defense.
yeah. Standings wise, I mean, Florida's going to drop obviously. I mean, Miami's going to drop out of the top 10. Other than that, like, there's not really much to talk about in terms of standings. Alabama performed, Clemson performed, Georgia performed, Notre Dame performed, OSU hasn't played, North Carolina won against a ranked opponent. Like, there's really not much to talk about in terms of standings. I mean,
TCU's uniforms are fucking ugly.
Yeah, those were
Yeah.
ugly. Yeah.
Fuck that.
Where
What
the,
the fuck are you
where's the
wearing?
red at? I don't
No,
understand where the
look.
red came from.
Yeah, I just want to know, like, is this for a cause? Because if it's for a cause, then like, fuck, like that's like,
Yeah.
I'm
When we're
all
walking
for
back,
it.
they were so ugly, but I mean,
But y'all looked ugly as fuck. Like that was, ew, like who came up with that color coordination?
purple, black, and red. That's
oh,
just not,
I know something that I want to touch on. Okay, those that don't know, I'm a specialist. All right, I'm a special teams guy. Went to college as a long snapper. My brother was a long snapper, Division One. We like special teams in this house. Two big things that I saw. The first one will happen for North Carolina State. If you get a sky kick on a kickoff, and it's a pooch, and you are the up back, and you call for the fair catch,
I remember.
you
those.
better damn well field that ball. You cannot call for the fair catch and go, oh, I misjudged that. Hey, you take it. And then let that shit roll. You can't do it. That was some bullshit. And then, of course, we got to talk about Pitt. All right? Pitt Boston College game. That was a close game, and we all here we like the Boston College team. We think they're a pretty tough ball club, but Pitt's kicker hits a 58-yarder to force overtime.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
In overtime, misses the extra
Yeah.
point to lose the game.
From how far away?
It's an extra point.
Yeah.
How? I mean, nerves, but you just freaking had ice in your veins for a 58-yarder to force overtime. The inconsistency there, and from what I saw, the snap was good, the hold was good. He just pushed it. Special teams this year, not looking too hot. The brand's not doing too good. So we need to clean some shit up. Special teams coordinators, get your guys knowing the rules, knowing the shit that they need to know, knowing their job. Because there's a lot of miscues, even just on the rule set, that I'm seeing in terms of special teams. And then also for quarterbacks fucking fumbling the snap and then spiking the ball. Like, once you fumble the snap, you can't spike the ball. Fucking stop it. Learn the rules. Please. Head coaches, put some more time into special teams. It wins and loses ball games.
Plays 40% of the field positioning.
Fucking fix it.
Now, are we wanting to do look ahead to next week, or are we wanting to maybe hold off and see if we can get together again this week?
I'm not even trying to look in the next
Okay.
week.
I want to
I'm
see
not
what
ready to talk
I
about
just
that.
want to see what games we got. We'll put out a different episode where we talk about the games that we're going to be
Just name
having.
them off real fast.
But in terms of some big games,
I'm not looking too hot.
not looking too good. You got Pitt versus Miami,
Cincy, Tulsa,
Cincy, Tulsa, Auburn, South Carolina,
Kentucky, Tennessee,
Louisville, Notre Dame, LSU, Florida, A&M.
Georgia, Alabama.
That
That looks like the only game.
Boston College, Virginia Tech
Yeah.
should be a good one. So it looks like there's only two good games really that have any kind of interest in.
Is that Mississippi State, Texas A&M?
Honestly,
Yeah.
Maybe?
Mississippi State just got their shit rocked by Kentucky, who is a good ball team, but still, this Georgia Alabama game is probably the game. It's definitely got to be game day. That's the game of the week. Obviously, top 5 matchup. Going to be interesting to see how you guys pick on that, because I already
know where I'm
I already
going with
know where I'm leaning on it. So,
it. But if you think that's gonna end it there?
well,
Yeah.
let's go in and finish it on what's got you dialed up.
Oh yeah.
Fuck.
You tried to do it last week. You better damn well get it out of your system now.
What, dude?
We were just talking about it.
What was I talking about? Oh, Cincy and Tulsa? Yeah, I'm dialed up about that. I have no idea. I don't know shit about Tulsa. I've never thought about Tulsa. I've never really taken the time to think that Tulsa would be a threat. I don't know if they really are, but they beat UCF, so like obviously there's something I gotta look into. I haven't looked into it. I think we'll be okay.
Well,
I don't really
all
know
right,
what's
then.
Happen, but
What's got you dialed up then? If you ain't dialed up about that,
I don't know, dude. Like, fucking, I can't wait to see what I'm having for dinner tomorrow.
spoken like a no lineman. Gosh damn. All right, Darby, what you got you dialed
I mean,
up?
I'm pretty dialed down right now. I'm not gonna lie. After tonight, I don't fucking know, bro. I think I'm kind of just dialed up to
Punch somebody in the fucking face.
Bro, I don't even know. I'm ready for my paycheck to go through. Give me some money. I don't know, man. This.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. This shit took a lot of the wind out of my sails, and I don't know, man. I'm just dialed up for another week. Maybe if Miami can get me a nice little bounce back, I'll be a little more dialed up for something.
Yeah.
Logan's back there, I think. Logan. He's back there, so he made it home. We've been hanging out. So I guess honestly, I'm probably more dialed up just to spend some more time with him and hang out with him. But not a lot to get dialed up about this week. I don't have any big plans or anything. So.
And same with me, man. I'm dialed up. I got finished my first week of training at work. got my buddy Logan back here, man. I'm excited. We got our conies on Thursday.
Which I told him you gotta make sure you guys bring me some conies home when you get, because I can't go because I work. But
Hey, man,
you gotta get me some conies.
Hey,
Have some.
anybody in the Columbus area,
bro,
Phillips
fucking
is
Phillips
Coney
conies.
Island, best damn
Or Phillips
conies in the
conies.
state of Ohio.
That's not true.
Fuck yes, it is. I swear to God, if you say Skyline, I am going to smack you.
Habanero cheese, my boys know what's up. Mountain Dew, tall.
Where's the trash
Crackers
can?
in
Where's
the
the
hot
fucking
sauce.
trash?
Where's the
can?
trash
They're
can?
getting
We
thrown in
already
the trash.
know. In the Cholitos with 4-way with onion. Fuck these dudes. Don't forget about Wild Mike's.
Phillips is Coney Island, best damn conies
What's
in the
up?
state.
So-
love you.
Chandler's
Well,
Bistro.
And so, make sure you guys keep hitting us up on the social media accounts.
Yes.
So make sure you guys subscribe to our podcast, our YouTube. But make sure you hit us up on social media. I meant to drop a post. That Spencer Rattler post meant to go onto our actual podcast. I slipped up, put it on my own personal one for my part of the YouTube podcast. But we're gonna make sure we keep dropping some heat. So make sure you guys get out there, spread the word. Get it to all your friends that like college football.
We are on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, so,
Instagram, Twitter.
Yeah, all of it.
Oh, we're fucking everywhere,
So-
boys. We growing.
Well, the website will be in the bio or in the description. So we love you. Thanks for hanging out with us. Bye.